Shaneen Allen of Philadelphia is living a nightmare, never thinking that when she was pulled over for a routine traffic stop in New Jersey, she would end up being arrested after she told the state trooper she had her firearm in her purse. She even showed the officer her concealed carry permit and the receipt for the firearm she just bought the week before. The problem? Her carry permit is illegal in New Jersey, and now Shaneen faces up to 3.5 years in state prison, but not if one state lawmaker has anything to do about it. Assemblyman Ron Dancer has introduced legislation in New Jersey called Shaneen's Law to right what he calls, quote, a miscarriage of justice. Take a look.
It was more right than telling the truth. It's a shame.
We put our hand on a Bible and we swear that we will tell the truth. She didn't have her hand on the Bible, she had her hand on the steering wheel and was a law-abiding citizen, but has to live with the fear, and her children live with the fear that she's now going to be possibly facing mandatory time in prison for telling the truth. Unconscionable, and it's an injustice.
I think I'm just a number, and they're just trying to convict me, and I was just getting the book slammed at me every time.
This is not about gun control, whether you're a conservative or a liberal. This is about justice and constitutional rights.
Right now, the best deal offered Shaneen is 3.5 years, no chance of parole, for making an honest mistake as a licensed gun owner. Is that what the legislature want to do? You want to talk about legislative intent? That's legislative intent right there.
Is Shaneen Allen really the kind of person lawmakers like yourself, your colleagues, intended to target with their gun control laws?
Absolutely not a target. I did not think of these unintended consequences. I think that many of my colleagues on both sides of the aisle never thought of the unintended consequences that we have in this Shaneen Allen case. We most certainly do have criminals in this state that deserve the prison term. But if an individual does not have a previous criminal conviction and you're in compliance with your home state gun laws, you do not deserve to be put in prison by this state's justice system.
I don't have a criminal part of my body. I'm not capable of hurting anybody.
The prosecutor even admitted that Shaneen Allen would respond positively to probation, but then stressed,
the prosecutor determined that the facts of this case, the harm done to society by abandoning criminal prosecution, the strong need to deter this defendant and others outweighed the benefits to society from channeling an offender into the supervisory program.
A deterrent to others?
Lord help us. You can't make this stuff up. There is no deterrence here with a law-abiding citizen with no criminal record. This all just comes back to common sense and just justice.
Even the judge didn't seem convinced.
What's the harm to society with having her in PTI?
The defendant is charged with a second-degree offense.
Judge, there is no public need to prosecute Shaneen Allen here. They're just begging for her to go to jail. Public need, no way. And whether or not the harm done to society by abandoning criminal prosecution, there's no harm done. The harm is done in prosecuting her, destroying her.
The public need right now is that we need to amend what is known as the Graves Act in the state of New Jersey, where there is this mandatory sentencing, so that an individual is not going to be faced with mandatory prison time with no criminal record. The public need is to right the wrong.
Mandatory penalties, I think, has run its course as a really intelligent option in the criminal justice system. And every case that involves a mandatory penalty removes discretion from that judge.
It's a dumb statute, and if she's convicted, the judge has no discretion. So there's just no logical reason for doing that, except that if you are in New Jersey and you have a weapon, you're presumptively guilty of something. Congratulations, you're a felon.
For a prosecutor to have more discretion than a judge, is that the way our justice system was supposed to operate?
That's why I introduced the legislation, Shaneen's Law. When I first learned of this case, that the judge would have absolutely no discretion, I have to tell you, I said, that is why we call them judges. This is an injustice. It needs to be changed.
In fact, there's a school of thought, and it's getting larger and larger, that is not how you want to run a judicial system.
This bill is going to now provide an opportunity for an out-of-state person to carry their constitutionally authorized firearm into the state of New Jersey, legally registered in their home state, and not have to have the fear of doing prison time without any discretion by a judge, and for the judge to give an opportunity for pretrial intervention. Perhaps there would be some supervisory measures, there could possibly be some community service, but there would absolutely be no prison time.
As I indicated for the record, the PTI coordinator did indicate they felt that the defendant would be worthy of PTI.
She just let me know kindly that you're going to be okay. You're fine. You shouldn't have to deal with the situation.
And that was ultimately overturned by the prosecutor, which is the prosecutor's prerogative.
And when I was denied, I just don't understand why the prosecutor would want to just throw me in jail in state prison with other criminals and not give me a chance.
As a matter of New Jersey law, PTI is a prosecutorial program, not a court program.
It's been called in this state a prosecutor's program. There's no question under the plethora of case law that for a court to undo the prosecutor's decision on that is limited to the most egregious examples of injustice and unfairness.
I think this is an egregious miscarriage of justice.
There's a clear error of judgment. Common sense says put Shaneen Allen in PTI. She's a professional medical phlebotomist. She has no criminal record. She's a single mom caring for her children. It is the reason for this program.
Just generally from what I've heard, again, and this is just my position, in my thinking, it's either PTI or probation.
Right now, there is a groundswell of outrage.
I think that the criminals get justice and we get put in jail. The average person who obeys the law should not have to go through witch hunts.
When we have these type of situations in America, it is time for the citizens to take action and to make sure that our Second Amendment rights are not impaired, infringed, or abridged in any way.
Defendant claimed she was unaware that it was against the law to carry a handgun across state lines.
Look, it is totally unreasonable to expect anyone to know the nuances of 50 states' gun laws. I'm a lawmaker, and when I'm traveling through with my family, as she was traveling, I have the protection of the Second Amendment. It's the last thing I would think about that I'm doing something illegal.
Her case is sending a message about turning individuals into victims, about how bad New Jersey's gun laws are and need fixing, and get a national carry reciprocity law passed already. Do it.
Perhaps this will be a national catalyst to move federal legislation that there will be reciprocity with the states with respect to all these gun laws, to make sure that this never happens to anyone else in this state or in this nation.
How would your bill impact Shaneen Allen directly?
I believe that there will be bipartisan support to have this law passed prior to the October 6th jury trial. We will have the governor's signature. If it does not, I still believe that with a jury made up of individuals of everyday walk of life, common sense people, that this is not the way justice should be meted out in our nation or in the state of New Jersey.
I pray for the judge. I pray for everybody that has to do with this case, because this was definitely an honest mistake.
I pray for our nation. If our founding fathers were here today to see the injustices and the interpretations by those in that we call our justice system, they would be weeping for our nation.